Great. Hi everyone. This is Jonathan Mitchell, the CEO and co-founder of the College Prep Pro. I'm here with for another case study of one of our successful students, Chris Wong, who's going to basically share his journey and his process, and obviously at the very end, the results he achieved with our by going through our process and our program. So with that being said, okay, with no further ado, congratulations again, Christopher. So awesome to see you. How you
Yeah,
doing?
thank you so much.
You're so very welcome. You're so very welcome. So what I'd like to do, Chris, if you could, for those who are watching, the parents and students, could you please share um, what were some of the challenges, concerns, and feelings, and maybe perhaps anxiety that you initially had about the college planning and the application process before we met?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing was like being able to stand out on my application. So that's like extracurricular activities, like research opportunities, internships, and even like how I'm gonna formulate my essays. Because I mean, you don't want to write something that like is, I guess, basic and that a lot of people have written before and doesn't really stand out. So that was the main thing that I was worried about. And or before that, we met with you, Jonathan. Um, but yeah, I think just standing out on my application and like having a new unique story to tell on my application.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that. I mean, you were a on paper in terms of your numbers when we met. By the way, you what grade level? I believe you were a sophomore when we met. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was either the end of sophomore year or the beginning of my junior year. So we
Got
started like later than normal.
Got it. Yeah. So you on paper, I remember as a sophomore going into your junior year, you had strong numbers. Your SAT score, your grades, and so forth, and even your transcript was starting to get strong. Obviously, we strengthened it. That being said, uh, a lot of students are in exactly that predicament where they're strong, but they also are aware that they are just one of hundreds of thousands who equally have strong numbers, and hence, how do I stand out? And I'm assuming those were some of your concerns at the time, correct?
Yeah, especially for the UCs because from what I heard before, the UCs focus a lot more on your activities instead of your numbers. So that was like a big thing.
Got it, got it, got it. Now, if you remember, we met, with you and your parents, of course, during a college planning discovery session I conducted for you and your family. What was it about the content and the information that was shared during that session that inspired you and your parents to enroll in our program?
Well, the main thing that I was very interested in was like not only your energy, you seem very like passionate and like you really wanted to help me, but also I think it was a lot about how you helped me formulate some like hooks to begin with. Like they weren't fully fleshed out ideas, but just coming up with like hooks that can lead to interesting essays or interesting like activities that could build off of what I may want to do like in my future, like what I want to major in or eventually what I may want to like have as my profession in the future. So I thought the hooks was something that was really interesting, something that I never thought of before. And I mean, those are the things that ultimately hooked like me and my family into signing up with you.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, for those who are listening, the hooks are, a key part of a student's brand that ultimately help them really stand out from a competitive crowd. So, how did you decide on your major, or was it already formulated, when we started working together?
Um, well, I always knew I wanted to do something STEM or science related. I just wasn't too sure which exactly I wanted to do, but then like after that meeting with you, Jonathan, and after we signed up, you really helped me to focus it down to like a specific major. So for a lot of my schools, I tried to apply for molecular biology. If they didn't have that, I just did like just biological sciences in general. But having that specific major, I think it really helps you if you're in a competitive major such as biology, as if you do a more like specific or subtype subcategory from that major, there's more spots because less people are applying for that. And then it just really helps you also focus on what your activities and what your essays may be about in your application.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it was all about really zeroing and being laser focused on a sub academic topic. And then literally taking the courses in that field, which is what you did to set you apart. Wonderful. What would you say, Chris, were some of the big highlights of your experience working, together in our college planning and admission program that you really felt helped you the most?
Um, I thought along with the help with the application itself, like the essays, I thought like your energy was honestly, it was really motivating for me because it's a really long and tedious process. But then I felt like, along with all the help you gave me, your excitement and like your passion for what you're doing, like helping us, it really like helped to motivate me and give me the like energy I needed to push through with like writing all the essays, and then also like your help as well. It helped me a lot, especially like I said with the hooks, formulating them, and then ultimately getting to write the essays. I think that was probably the most helpful thing, especially since I started later. You couldn't help me as much with the activities, but a lot with the essay part and essay building. I thought that was really, really helpful.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. Um, yeah, I mean, energy is so important. Clearly, not for all of us, especially when it comes to learning. It just helps out when we have that added fuel. Um, you brought up a very good point. And by the way, for those who are listening, Christopher did start a tad bit a little bit later than a lot of our students. We have found, I've found over the last 2 decades that the sweet spot to really begin this process, ideally begin the college prep process, has been the end of the 8th grade to the spring of the summer, because then, okay, we can really strategically start really fleshing out the different hooks, the brand, and so forth, and then building, the activities. But you did great. You did great, and as the viewers will be able to learn from at the very tail end when you share your amazing results, Chris. So that's great. Now, as you remember, we focused on helping you implement 4 specific college planning strategies to help you stand out at your top college picks. One, of course, was identifying your unique college admission theme, which of course consisted of your academic interests. You refer to cellular biology, your hooks, your core values, and so forth. We worked also on helping you clearly, identify all the key hooks, your 4 to 5 top strongest hooks that made up your student brand, networking with that college admission offices, and of course, helping you build, and scale the ped project. Now, could you speak to one or maybe several of the strategies, that you felt helped you the most to help you gain admission into your dream school?
Okay, yeah. I think for me, the one that I thought was the most helpful was helping to scale my pet projects. I think that's probably the biggest thing that helped me stand out, or in my opinion, it's the biggest thing that helped me stand out on my application, especially like as a biology major, getting the research and then having like my whole research project and helping me scale it up and then eventually write essays on it and then like connecting it to my major. That was really, really helpful, and I think that's where a lot of my energy was spent. Um, like while I was with you, just scaling up my pet project, and then ultimately it paid off with all the schools that I got into. I got into a lot of my top colleges, so I think
You
that was really helpful. But then, yeah, I think also the hooks in the student brand, that's something that's really important too, because you really want to be consistent in your application, and then but also have things that stand out and make you like different from everybody else. So I thought those were really helpful as well.
got it. Awesome. Thank you. Are there any other maybe strategies, tactics, or parts of the college application process that you may not have mentioned that you feel also helped you and help you make a difference, that made a difference?
Um, this is kind of tied into the hooks, but I thought one of them that may have helped me stand out, especially on the UC application was like having a different academic interest that's different from your major. So I think mine was photography, and I was able to write a few essays about my love for bio or molecular biology and then tie it into photography somehow. And I think that's a really unique perspective that probably not many people write about.
Sure.
And
Yep, absolutely.
like just coming up with those like twists
Sure. Yep.
on
Yep.
your same interest, I think that's something that you really helped me a lot with.
Awesome. Awesome. So now's the moment, okay, where you get to share your admission results, your admission results with us. Tell us, Chris, share a little bit about the results you got as a result of working with us in our program.
Yeah, so I got into all the UC schools, so that includes schools like Berkeley, UCLA, and those are my top schools. Those I think were my A plus schools, so I was really happy with that. And then I also got into Carnegie Mellon University, which is another one of my top schools. But yeah, um, right now I'm choosing between UCLA and Cal Berkeley. They're both really great schools, and I'm eventually gonna go on like the admitted student like days just to see like finalize which one I want to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, as we shared earlier, that's a really good problem to have, Chris. Like, which school do I go to? Do I go to Berkeley? Do I go to UCLA? I'm so happy for you that you have that very specific problem.
Yeah.
That's a great, great problem to have. So as we wrap up here, how does it feel like, to be being admitted to your dream schools?
Oh man, it's a really big relief, honestly.
Yeah,
Like it's a really stressful time, especially like junior, senior year. That's like mainly what I'm focusing on, and then realizing that all like the hard work that like I put in paid off. I got into two of my like top schools, and honestly, it was a big thanks to you. I thought you helped me like a lot. I probably couldn't have done it without you, so thank you.
thank you. No, thank you. It's just a joy working with you, Chris. Thank you
Mhm.
very Um, a big part of this process is about personal growth, mindset, and what have you. Could you briefly touch on, how do you feel you personally, how have you personally grown through this process?
Um, I'd say that I grew mostly in the fact that um, hmm, I'd say mainly just like learning more about myself.
Mm.
Like the questions you asked during our meetings really helped me learn more about like what I'm interested in and looking for like in a college. And yeah, I think that was probably the biggest thing. Besides you just helping me like help me like flesh out ideas for my college application. I learned a lot more about myself because you asked really deep questions that really like helped me to learn more about myself as well.
Yeah, self-knowledge is really key. It's a key factor in being able to really differentiate oneself from other competitive students. Because it takes a lot of introspection as you experience and what have you. So I'm glad to have been able to guide you through that process. As we wrap up, Chris, as a student, would you recommend my services to other parents and students? And if so, why?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend Jonathan and the college prep like pro service. I thought it was really helpful. Like Jonathan helped me come up with like different activities that I can do. He even like gave me ideas and like took out a lot of the time that I would have needed like researching all these ideas. He already had like long lists of different activities I could do. And then ultimately, I think the hardest part, which is the essay writing, and writing about yourself, that's something that like honestly I was not very familiar with, not very good at, but Jonathan really helped me like you said before, like look into myself, learn more about myself, and then that ultimately is like what makes or breaks your essays. Because you can't really put like shallow ideas or anything like that in your essays, and I think that's the main like benefit or the main plus of working with Jonathan is that he really digs deep and or makes you dig deep and ultimately allows you to produce just like really great essays.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, going, depth of thinking is critical definitely when it comes to the college essays. Chris, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Well, I just wanted to thank you again for all the help you gave me over these like past two-ish years.
Yeah.
You were really great help, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was again, it was just so much a joy working with you and your family. Chris, I have no doubt whatsoever that you are going to be a massive success at whatever your undertakings are. And as you know, one of our very big philosophies here at K is I know you're going to do one key thing moving forward, and that is to pay it forward. Yeah, I was finding a way, okay, to like pay it forward and impact and help other people as you go on your journey towards success, you know. So for all of you, here's another okay case study. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you were able to glean some great gems. You know, thank you so much, by the way, Chris, for sharing some great gems and great distinctions and perspectives and what have you to the viewers. And to all of you guys, God bless and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.